This is a story of Patrick Vogel and Boeing.
You're going to see it right side up and it's going to be right above you. Dude, I don't think you realize how big this project is. This is going to be big, big, big. This is going to be really cool. This right now is a 1/4 scale model of the stainless steel only. Then this sits on a 6-foot pedestal in the same shape and the same form, bringing this to over 22 feet high when it's done. See, now I get this electropolished. Electropolishing is a process where we remove the iron and nickel atoms from the surface, just leaving the chromium atoms. So this essentially will look chromed. The big benefit is they will require virtually no maintenance. Just be chromium on the surface, lasts forever. There's a 6-foot pedestal that this sits on top of. Well, even a lowboy truck is about 20 inches. If I stood it up vertically, it would be somewhere 19 feet high. I could never get it there because there's power cords along the way that are between 14 and 15. If I laid it sideways, I'll occupy 2 lanes. I'll need a special permit to get each individual piece, not only to the site, but also to the electropolisher. We're doing 2 electropolishing processes. The first is we do each individual plate.
Wait, I'm more concerned the fact that you can't get it there.
I can't get it there because it's too big. I brought my initial model in when I had my presentation, and one of the gentlemen from the Boeing Corporation, he looked at me and he said, "Patrick, who designed this for you?" I said, "I designed this." He said, "You yourself or somebody that works for you?" I said, "No, I use a sophisticated drawing package called SolidWorks, and I designed the piece myself." He said, "Oh, that's interesting." He said, "Next question, who made your model?" I said, "I made my model." He said, "You made the model or you had somebody that works for you?" I said, "I made the model in my own shop." He said, "Oh, interesting. Now your third question," this is once again from the gentleman at Boeing. He said, "Patrick, when you get ready to build this, if in fact you were chosen to build this, who's gonna build it for you?" I said, "I'm gonna build it in my own shop, and if you ever wanna come by and watch me, you can come at your leisure. I only design and build things that I can build. If I can't build it, or I have to have an onslaught of others to build it, I lose control of the project, and that's what I don't want to do." I need those pieces for Boeing. I need the, you brought the pipe, you brought the rod, and I want you to come over here and see all these pieces and figure out whether or not we need to, well, can you come by Friday? I'll buy you lunch.
Patrick decided to take us on a tour and bring us to his 9/11 monument. Deeply moved by the tragedy of September 11th, Patrick makes a request that the city of Signal Hill, California grant his wish to build what he calls a unity monument.
It's pretty cool, isn't it?
Standing over 16 feet tall, overlooking greater Los Angeles, the single towering structure is made of 5 dissimilar metals, symbolizing America's widely varied cultures, all working together as one.
We're building the DC-8 vertical stabilizer, which is the tail wing of the DC-8 plane. What we've done is we've cut it into 25 sections, and we have a 6-foot pedestal that it sits on, and then we have 25 plates, 3/8 of an inch thick, that make up that shape. So that's the first project for Boeing. The second project for Boeing is where we're gonna have a product walk. The product walk will illustrate some of the planes that McDonald Douglas built in their 80+ years being here. This is the main entrance for the entire 262-acre Douglas Park project. This is where everybody's gonna eventually come into. What are they gonna see? 6 large DC-8 full-scale vertical stabilizers right here in front. 3 on this side, 3 on this side of the street. We've got Christopher.
Main
Main knucklehead.
Knucklehead #1.
And Christopher's been here for about 3 years. 23-year-old Matt. Yeah, we've got the first initial tracks or foundation pieces for our sculptures for Boeing. Okay? What we're doing today, we have the models, we assemble the models to show Boeing their physical size. When I drew it and partitioned it in such a way that we could actually make the model. It was hard for Boeing to get the totality of the planes without them being assembled. So we glued them together. Now in order to make the molds, we need to cut them into their sections so they're small enough for the actual mold. This stuff is so toxic, I'm just wearing a mask.
This is where Patrick cuts, and cuts, and cuts, and cuts more planes in pieces. And still more planes in more pieces. And this should be about the last of the pieces. Here, right here.
So what I did so far is I took all the information, I resurfaced all the planes, and then I broke the planes into components so I can actually make the pieces. So from here, these individual pieces go to another house that makes the rubber mold.
Yeah, I basically want to give you a rundown of the process that we have here. This is an example of one of the 3D printouts that we have of the planes from a digital model. It's printed in sort of a starch material. It's bound with resin like super glue sort of a substance to make it hard. Off of this piece, we actually just go ahead and smear on several layers of silicone to the outside. Ends up creating sort of a jacket kind of like this around the model.
And exactly, what is this jacket for? What does this do?
This is going to be the silicone mold into which we pour the wax that then gets used to make the bronze final product.
After being three-dimensionally printed by a slurry of starch and crazy glue, the final product is a fully formed, nearly perfect airplane. After some finish sanding by some highly skilled model makers, of course.
It's gonna be flat or angled?
Yeah, see what I did in the cast? It's a 10-degree piece that's integral. I have this going all the way through the fuselage. This is all hollow,
right,
but I have this going all the way through the fuselage and extra webbing, so when they hang on it, it won't break here.
The nearly 200-pound plates are installed one by one. And there's many of them, so it's going to take a while.
Level, double check it, that there's no twist, and then we attack it. Little tap, baby tap. The first thing, the most important thing is the fixture. The fixture is perfectly flat, perfectly level in every direction. More so than even the earth. It's just perfect. And once the fixture's perfect, then the product will be perfect because the product is sitting on top of the fixture. This fixture was custom designed just for this sculpture.
In order to ensure Patrick's signature was indelible, he laser cut in his last name and laid in copper.
We're looking here at the sculpture. It's Monday, and we've added another 3 or 4 plates, and we finished our fixtures. So we had Boeing in here earlier today. They loved it. They gave me a big kiss. So right now we're just putting the last of the vertical set or the horizontal pieces to constrain the fixture so the fixture doesn't move from side to side during the welding. This is really technical because all these plates are parallel, but they're built on a single axis. There's 5 pieces of 2.5-inch Schedule 40 pipe, but like I said, they're on the same axis. So each plate could potentially move from side to side, or the entire structure could move. But luckily with this build fixture, we haven't had any problems. Dude, look at this weld. It's perfect. It's perfectly uniform, great color. You don't ever see this on a BMX bike. You never see it on a custom car. This is clean. So our biggest, now this is one problem we're facing is we have this fixture, and since this thing is so large, we can't even deliver it in one piece. So we have it in 2 pieces, but we're fearful that our sleeve might have shrank We've got the sleeve here, we have about 5 inches engagement, and we've welded it here. If this has shrunk, we'll never be able to pull this apart, which could be a problem. But that's where the plasma torch comes in.
While the crew back at the shop is hard at work on the sculptures, Patrick oversees the huge footing that's going to have to support the 7,000-pound stainless steel structure.
So we've got the operator here controlling his dry pack mix, remote control. Oh, that is so cool, man. And they have the 3-foot thick concrete slab. The concrete slab is 6 feet wide, 24 feet long. I've got Lucas there, right in the middle there. Hey Lucas, what do you have to say?
Hey, look, there's a plane going.
Poured by artisans, this concrete is absolutely perfectly smooth. And held together by thousands of pounds of rebar, this is not going anywhere. As if in a presidential motorcade, Patrick pulls up with the very first vertical stabilizer. That's the steel thing on the back of the truck that he's got to put on the pedestal. Imagine threading a needle in concrete. No, I take that back. Imagine threading 6 needles in concrete at the same time. That's what Patrick has to do now. It takes a crane and a whole lot of patience to make these 2 giant fixtures fit together.
Go. Keep going.
Well, everyone, the goal is to make the steel structure and the concrete structure look like they are one. And this is a challenge. With one down, it's back to the shop. Remember those models you saw earlier? Well, when they're bronzed, they'll be hoisted above these beautiful stainless steel wingspans. And they're creating them right here. One of the pedestals, laying on its side to the right on the brown table, is complete, as Chris hurries away to get the rest done. And you wouldn't just put the pedestal on concrete again, would you? No, you'd put the pedestal on another pedestal.
Okay, lift it up higher. There you go. Yeah, I think you should slide.
After hundreds of hours of labor, engineering, and ingenuity, the pieces are finally coming together. To commemorate McDonald Douglas and Boeing's long and significant contributions to aviation, these monuments will stand at the gateway to Douglas Park in Long Beach, California. To date, this is the single largest public art project in the city of Long Beach. Well, that's until Patrick starts his next project.